Before we start, a quick note. The story I'm telling is a fictionalized reimagining of my personal experiences. All names, companies, and details are changed or dramatized and don't reflect any real workplace. Stardew Valley and all in-game locations belong to ConcernedApe. I'm only using those fictionalized places to create a cozy, immersive storytelling experience. Thanks, and enjoy. Okay, this tractor is a super cute mod. If you were there for my original Stardew and Chill mod, my Stardew and Chill mod, my Stardew and Chill stream, when I was first kind of looking for mods, you probably do recognize this from that. I do love this mod. It makes cleaning a lot easier. But also I'm going to use it because I want to explore this farm a little bit. This is a different farm. This is exclusive to the Stardew Valley Expanded. So there are places I have not explored on this farm yet. But yeah. So the first few days were a shit show. I was introduced to other people on the team, mainly other assistants and a couple other managers too. But again, this is JojaMart, so this is a huge company. There is a corporate campus that consisted of at least 4 buildings that I knew of. I think there were other buildings in other parts of the city as well. So a huge freaking company. Because I really do respect people I worked with, except for Garth. Garth can go to hell. Anyway, so I was introduced to a couple other people when I got there. There was Iris. She was the assistant for the kids department. She worked with a manager named, what are we going to call her? Chloe. She worked for a manager named Chloe. There was also, what did I name her? Felicity. There was Iris, who worked for Chloe and kids. There was Felicity, who worked for Tracy in women's. Garth and I also worked in women's. I would say women's as far as clothing-wise was at the biggest department. And then there was Tasman, who was in men's. She was also an assistant, but the time that I started working there, she didn't have a manager. So those were kind of the people who were in my direct department. And there was a director who we're going to call... what are we going to call the director? We're going to call her Mrs. Vale. So Mrs. Vale, the director. In the department, I would say that... I don't want to say that, but I'm going to say it anyway. Tracy, the other manager in women's, had a reputation for being a hard ass. But that was okay. Honestly, it didn't bother me at all. Because again, I had spent how many years in Zuzu City? I worked with a ton of different people. I've learned one thing, that people who are typically hard asses at work, they are that way because they're really fucking good at their job. It's not because they just don't like you. It's not because they want to make your life harder. It's because they really follow the rules and they really want to make sure their job is done right. And Tracy was one of those kind of people. Tough, but really fucking good. And honestly, fair. The managers I worked with in the past who have been kind of a little bit more chill and laid back, hell, we can call them lazy. Usually, in my experience, have been chill all around. They've been chill with you. They've been chill with themselves. They're not the kind of people who are gonna make you come in early, whatever, or, make you stay there for a project. No, they want to go home too. So they're gonna let you kind of lay back, and they're gonna be laid back as well. Garth, however, was kind of the combination of both, but in the worst ways. Not only was he extremely lazy, but he also was extremely micromanagey. He wanted to know everything that I was doing at every single moment, but he wouldn't step in to help, which, kind of made it so I just had to keep reporting about myself, but not getting any assistance in the meantime. So it's kind of made my job extra hard. Meanwhile, he didn't train me on anything. And that was when I knew that I was really in some deep shit. It was when he refused to train me. Because as you know, when you go to a new job, I mean, the first thing that's kind of expected for you to do is to learn how to do your job, right? Well, you would think so, but I guess Garth felt differently. He would get angry when I would ask for training. And yeah, I had been working in this like job, or in this career field, I guess you could say, for like over 10 years at this point. So I knew a lot. But when you're working for a company like JojaMart, you really have to learn how they work, because they have their own system and their own way of doing things that may be completely different than any other place you've worked. In fact, I want to say that goes for every company in fashion. Every company in fashion has a system, like a data entry system, where you enter in all the thread colors or the fabric colors or the prints or whatever. And that way you have a very clear line of communication and a tracking system of all the changes that have been made and everything that needs to be done for every single style that you're putting out. However, each one of these programs is created custom for the company. So learning these programs is going to take about, I want to say, a month, even for a seasoned employee. Garth expected me to just know it, like the JojaMart data entry program from day one, which, bro, that is impossible. Damn, a crow ate my shit. Annoying. I am going to swing by her shop today, but I'm going to go and I'm going to ask her to build me a silo. Oh, actually, I could use my tractor for this. Haha. Love the tractor. Tractor is so OP. Tractor is so OP. But yeah, I met the Joja design team, and the team was really great. I mean, like, I really enjoyed like working with the other assistants. Because Garth refused to train me, the other assistants stepped in and kind of gave me like little 30-minute training sessions on our work from home days. I grew really close to Felicity. We both enjoyed the same kind of like period dramas and TV shows, stuff like that. So I was excited to make a new friend, and things are going pretty well. From time to time, I would ask Garth from training on things, and of course he would refuse and get angry with me for even asking. So in those cases, I would ask Tracy, because Tracy was a rule follower and a stickler, and she knew her shit. However, that came to bite me in the ass, where at one point I asked Tracy to show me how to fill out a performance review. This had to be maybe like, I don't know, several months into my time there. It was something I probably should have learned on the first day. But remember, the first couple days, Garth said I didn't need to train. I could do it on my own time, and he didn't like handle any of it. So I was never trained on how to do performance reviews. Tracy was concerned. So she went to Garth and asked how had training been going. He wasn't able to answer a lot of the questions, and I guess Tracy kind of got on him for that, because Garth called me into a meeting later on that day, a closed door meeting, and he was pissed. He told me that I was not allowed to talk to other people at all. If I had any questions, I was to ask him, and if he didn't have the answer, I need to figure it out, which is insane. Like, again, when you're working for a company, you need to follow the company's rules. And when you're working for a company as big as JojaMart, you really want to make sure you're following the rules, because there's a lot of different moving parts involved. Garth, however, he thought he was too good for the rules, I guess. But I think, really, he didn't know enough to really follow them and still do his job. I think that's really the issue, was that he was very much a rule breaker, because that's the only way he knew how to survive. After that, I went to talk to I went to talk to Felicity, because again, we had become friends over the past like few months, and I thought it was like pretty wild that he would say that to me. But Felicity wouldn't talk to me after that. Felicity refused to speak to me literally ever again. So we're gonna go ahead and construct a silo. I recommend you get a silo before you build your coop. That way you have feed stored up. Ooh, peppercorns. I've never seen that before, so I'm gonna save that. Actually, let me go set inside and make a chest for food, so I can save some of these like food items that I'm currently like growing and stuff. So yeah, after Tracy exposed me to Garth for asking for training, which you would think is a pretty normal thing when you're starting a new job, I became kind of persona non grata at the office in a weird way, meaning that people were afraid to talk to me. People knew that Garth was like really upset about what happened and would do whatever he could, really, to mess up anybody's situation if they decide to help me. I was still able to form relationships with some of my coworkers over time, and again, we will get to them as they come up. But unfortunately, what ended up happening is it would put a target on everybody else's back. So if they became friends with me, suddenly Garth would be like, oh, and he would do whatever he could to try to ruin their career, so that way they would no longer talk to me. Hello, Blue. That was a weird accent. What the fuck? I'm so sorry. You see this cat here? Aww. I found it sitting outside in the entrance to your farm. I think it's a stray. Poor little thing. Aww. I think it likes this place. Hey, do you think this farm could use a good cat? Absolutely. And we're gonna name it Yuki. I always name my in-game animals after my real animals. Well, little Yuki, you be a good little kitty now, okay? Oh, so there. Cute. Got Robin working, slaving away at 6:40 a.m. Robin, I feel you, because I used to be a JojaMart employee. I'll switch. Oh, the community center. All right, let's go through this cutscene real quick.
Oh, hi there. What an eyesore. This is the Peloton Town Community Center. Or what's left of it anyway. It used to be the pride and joy of the town. Always bustling with activity. Now, just look at it. It's shameful. These days, the young folk would rather sit in front of the TV than engage with the community.
This is so dated. It should have been phones, but whatever.
But listen to me, I sound like an old fool.
You do.
Joja Corporation has been hounding me to sell them the land so they can turn it into a warehouse. Pelican Town could use the money, but there's something stopping me from selling it. I guess old timers like me get attached to relics of the past. Ah, well. If anyone buys a Joja Co membership, I'm just gonna go ahead and sell it.
Damn, it's just that? You can give that easily? Jeez, Mayor Lewis.
Here, let's go inside.
Don't be a pussy, Mayor Lewis. Jeez.
Humph, what's this? I guess Vincent and Jad must have been playing in here. This place is even more dilapidated than I remember. What? What's the matter? Are you ill? You saw something, I wouldn't be surprised if this place is full of rats.
Yo! I need to change this guy. Okay, so like, in the Stardew Valley, so okay, again, I'm playing with mods, and in the mod pack, you can choose to make Mayor Lewis black. And again, I didn't want to do that because he's kind of corrupt, but now that he's talking about rats, it reminds me of Mayor Eric Adams from New York, and I kind of want to make him black now. I don't know, Mayor Eric Adams, like, he just got replaced by Zoran Mondami. But you have to see some of his interviews. Maybe I'll play that like one of my next like comedy and chill like podcast, or not podcast, comedy and chill streams. There is this great interview of him. He was he's such a character. Anyway. You're worrying me, Blue. Look, I think I'm gonna head home. I need some lunch. Hey, I'll keep this place unlocked from now on. Whew. Okay, well, community center's open. That's awesome. I'm playing some modest Stardew Valley. Yes, I made my Stardew Valley woke. No, I'm not sorry about it. But yeah, people for the longest time after what happened with Felicity were really scared to talk to me. They avoided me like the plague. I became somebody who was kind of like a nothing person, like a ghost almost. And that really hurt. Because if you don't, well, obviously you guys don't know me that well, but you're getting to know me a little bit. I am an introvert to my core. I am like very soft-spoken to the point that like, I mean, I'm so soft-spoken that when I'm talking like on stream, I have to have my audio settings like very specifically. Otherwise, like you can't hear me at all. My normal tone of voice is like really, really low. And I had my microphone turned up and all the other volumes like turned down. Otherwise, you can't hear me. So like to kind of like have that as my personality and like to be told like, oh, well, you can't talk to anybody. It made it really, really easy for me to be like isolated at the job at JojaMart. But yeah, people were afraid to talk to me. I was isolated and it was really like frustrating, you know, to try to like, you know, work at this new job that everybody was so excited for me to have and to have this job. So it was like hard for me to be like, okay, like I'm not happy, you know, like I want to talk to my friends and family about it. And I would talk to them about it, but people after a while got kind of exhausted because obviously this is an exhausting situation to be going through. So people got exhausted hearing about it. The wizard! And I can romance him in this game too. I'm so excited. My sources tell me you've been poking around inside the Oak Community Center. Why don't you pay me a visit? My chambers are west of the Forest Lake, in the Stone Tower. I have information concerning your rat problem. Signed, Rasmodius Wizard. Come in. I am Magnus Rasmodius, seeker of the arcane truths. Mediary between physical and ethereal. Master of the seven elements. Keeper of the Keeper of the sacred. You get the point. And you, Blue, the one arrival who I've long foreseen. Here, I'd like to show you something. You got a summoning circle, bro? Behold. Hell no, I think that's phasmophobia. I don't fuck with that shit at all. That's crazy. You've seen one before, haven't you? They call themselves the Junimos. Mysterious spirits. These ones. For some reason, they refuse to speak with me. I wouldn't talk to you either, personally. I'm not sure why they were the community center, but you have no reason to fear them. You found a golden scroll written in an unknown language? Most interesting. Stay here. I'm going to see for myself. I shall return shortly. I found the note. The language is obscure, but I was able to decipher it. We, the Junimo, are happy to aid you. In return, we ask for gifts for the valley. If you are one with the forest, then you will see the true nature of this scroll. One with the forest? What do they mean? Sniff, sniff. Aha! Come here! Girl, what? My cauldron is bubbling with ingredients from the forest. He means he's like having some psychedelic mushrooms in that cauldron. That's crazy. Baby fern, moss grub, caramel top toadstool. Can you smell it? Yup, he got drugs. Here, drink up. Let the essence of the forest permeate your body. Oh, this music is actually perfect for it now. Trippy. You get the power of forest magic. Now you can decipher the true meaning of the Junimo scrolls. Cute. All right. So we got our magic powers, but Juice was asking about combat earlier, so let's see if we can go ahead. Back to the yapping at ham. Oh, a skeletal hand. Jesus, that was kind of ironic. I didn't mean to talk about the... Yikes. Yikes. Sticking up body parts? What the fuck is happening in Stardew Valley? Stardew Valley is a crazy place. Huh. Anyway, Garth kind of like made it so that nobody was able to talk to me after the whole situation that happened with Felicity and Tracy. And that made my job really, really hard. So hard to the fact that I finally went to HR for my first, and I promise you, not my last time. I, at this point in my career, which had been like over 10 years, had never had to go to HR for anything. Like, for anything. And this is probably within like my first, I want to say, 6 months working at JojaMart. But I went to HR and I asked them, oh, here we go for the combat experience. I'll finish my story, then I'll go ahead into the cutscene. But I went to HR about Garth telling me that I wasn't allowed to talk to other people. That was such a weird thing to me. And I asked them, I was like, well, is this like a company policy or is this just a Garth thing? And they told me that it was just a Garth thing and he was not supposed to be telling me that, and that if he told me that again, I should bring it up to them again. That's when I met the HR girl we're going to call Dina. Unfortunately, Dina and I remained in contact throughout my entire experience at JojaMart. And she is a part of the reason why I no longer work there today. All right, back to the cutscene. Marlon says, Marlon is so gruff. He's so masculine.
I was just wondering how far down this mine shaft goes. I'm gonna take care of some of these monsters in here before they start climbing out into the valley. I've met a lot of adventures in my time, and I recognize that look in your eye. Old age hasn't robbed me of my eyesight or my skillful sword quite yet. Take this weapon. It may not look like much, but it's imbued with magic. And with it, you'll be able to battle the monsters here.
A rusty sword. You received a rusty sword. Thanks, Marlon.
I'll keep my eye on you, prove yourself, and I might think about making you a member.
Awesome. All right, let's go into the mines and we can do some combat so that we can show Juice what the combat is like here in Stardew Valley. Combat is not the most, like, obviously groundbreaking, but this is, look at the game. This is not like a, what is it? This is not like a huge, expensive game. Like, we are just kind of just, but yeah, HR told me that I was doing nothing wrong. It was perfectly okay for me to talk to my coworkers, especially when I was asking for training. But if you had Garth tell it, I was committing a fucking cardinal sin. He got so angry. Anytime he saw me talking to anybody, he'd pull me aside. Even as like having conversations with people about just like random stuff, like, hey, what did you have for lunch yesterday? Or hey, did you see the new episode of whatever? Garth would see me talking to somebody and would pull me aside and literally tell me, what were the words he used? Be careful what you say, and be careful who you say it to. Like a fucking mafioso. Like, what? Be careful what you say, and be careful who you say it to. The perception may come across that I'm not training you. The perception may be that you need a lot of help. And personally, I wasn't upset about it because I was like, I do need to be trained. I do need help. Again, I'm good at my job, but this is JojaMart we're talking about. I'm trying to be good at the JojaMart way, and that's what I'm asking for training in are the JojaMart procedures. Not necessarily how to do what I've always done, but just how to do the Joja stuff. But yeah, it got really dark during that period. And even aside from that, I continued to excel. Like, I started taking over a lot of the responsibilities for the brand. So now to introduce you to a couple more characters, unfortunately, which is fine. You don't remember any of these names. I have a whole little cheat sheet for my names. But I will introduce you to the overseas team, which pretty much consisted of Lily, who was the Michelle, her assistant. And the overseas team, they oversaw the factories like overseas. So sometimes we had factories in China, sometimes we had factories in India, Vietnam, Korea. Like, we have factories all over the world because this is JojaMart, and JojaMart technically is an international company, right? Lily and her team pretty quickly figured out that I was the only person actually doing any work in our department. Because Garth, again, couldn't be bothered to do any work, and he couldn't be bothered to train me because he didn't know what we were doing. Oftentimes we would get emails from Lily and her team overseas asking us to make updates or to, work on something or whatever, so that way her team can get what they need to get done. Garth would respond by saying, "Oh, I can't do it," or "Oh, Blue's gonna do it, so I just don't have the time, whatever. And I would respond saying, "How can I help you? What can I do? What do you need?" Lily was so happy to have me on the team because she realized that now work was actually going to get done for the first time. And, well, I guess since Garth got there. But Garth wasn't nearly as enthusiastic about it. He was kind of like irritated at first that the overseas team was like relying on me so heavily. But then later decided that it was going to be my responsibility. So again, I'm an assistant, Garth is a senior. But by the time we were like maybe 6 months in, all the emails were directed as me as the primary recipient because they knew that I was actually going to get the job done. And Garth was only listed on the emails as a CC, which, is a carbon copy or whatever. Garth would read the emails in the morning and respond back to them using like the @ symbol. So that way it would highlight the emails in my inbox to say like, "Oh, Blue, respond to this. Blue, respond to that." And the @ symbol, like if you're using it like on any kind of social media, it's used to call people out. It's kind of like a rude thing to do unless you actually have something to say to somebody or actually add somebody to a conversation. He would do it with every single email to the point that some of my other coworkers were like, "Why is he like emailing you like this? Like, does he think you're stupid? Does he think you can't read?" And I talked to him about it several times and said like, "Hey, can you like cool it with the ats?" But no, he would not, because that was the only thing he would do during the day. His job at that point consisted entirely of just micromanaging me and shopping online. That's what he would do all day. I was definitely frustrated, but it was my job, and I was commuting back and forth at least 2 to 3 days a week to try to make it work, because I wanted to be a good employee and I wanted to actually stay at JojaMart. But even that at some point became an issue for him. And instead of like having me come in on the regular work days that, were established for the entire office, he wanted me to come in on random work days. Sometimes he'd have my schedule changed just like a couple days before. Sometimes he would change my schedule literally a couple hours before. He would tell me like, "Oh, you don't have to come in today," or "Oh, I need you to come in this day." And it would really mess up my schedule because my dogs were in doggy daycare. So I would have to figure out like where it's going to stay overnight. How am I going to pay for my dogs? How am I going to get back home? When am I going to get back home? My life was kind of thrown into complete chaos at that point. So I started staying with my friend, Ember, who lived like midway between my home and JojaMart headquarters, which set up probably the worst breakup of my life. Oh, wow. Anyway, it is 11 p.m. in Stardew Valley. we have gone through a couple big story beats. We started off the game, we went through the opening parts of the game, we've explored the new farm. We've also explored some of the new valley because we're playing the extended version, so there's a lot of new NPCs we still haven't met. We got the community center open, we opened the mines, and we did some combat and some mining, and I think we did pretty good today. So I think that we are going to go ahead and end the stream pretty much here. Let me go ahead back to my farmhouse and get in bed and save. But yeah, this is my my early game for Stardew Extended. Thank you for hanging out and watching me mod, or not watching me mod, but like not actually mod. Although if you did like stay for that stream, thank you for that too. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, watching me play.